and welcome to the first video in our series on graphics for communication, where we're going to be talking about the topics that are in R for Data Science, the book online, and you can find it in this chapter, Graphics for Communication. So we are going to talk starting about labels. So we're going to talk about, in this series of videos, we'll talk about labels, annotations, scales, themes, zooming, and saving your plots. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is we are going to library, tidyverse. Oops. And somehow my caps lock got turned on. So let's turn that off. And now I want to just look at some examples that use the MPG data set. So first kind of label we're going to look at is adding a title. And you've probably already seen this, but we're going to ggplot the MPG data set. Our X variable is going to be the displacement. Our Y variable is going to be the highway mileage. We're going to add points with the color of the class of car. And we will add a smoothing line with the standard error turned to false. And we will add a label, so it's called labs, and the title is just given by title. So, and now we see here is the title that we got. Now notice that this title that we used doesn't just say highway as a function of displacement, because somebody can read the graph and see what that is. We want to give them our takeaway. What is that they're supposed to see out of this plot? And what they're supposed to see is that fuel efficiency generally decreases with the engine size. So that's the takeaway we want. So we want a title that summarizes our finding, not just says what the graph plots. Now we can also add in subtitles or captions by just using subtitle and caption options. So we see now that we have the subtitle, two-seater sports car as an exception. So this tells people what we want them to get out of this graph. And then we can see we also added in a caption. Where did that go? Down here, data from fueleconomy.gov. So frequently you want to put your data source or something like that in a caption that's sort of like a footnote at the bottom of the title. Okay, so now that we have our title and our caption and all, but we want, this doesn't really mean anything to people. So let's see if we can fix that. We want to fix the X and Y labels. So I'm just copying here what I did before, but now I'm also going to add, let me get rid of that. I'm going to add an X label. So X is going to be engine displacement. I don't tell them that's liters. And Y is highway fuel economy in miles per gallon. And I'm going to tell them that the color is car type. And let me just make a little more room for my plot here, so you can see that a little easier, how that comes out. So now I have meaningful labels for both my title and my legend and my axes. So you will notice that all of our labels we put in the double quote marks to give the new title. Now, if you want to use a math expression instead, so for instance, let me come up with just a arbitrary group of uniform random numbers, and now instead of, you can see now, I'm just showing you how to enter math expressions for your labels rather than character vector. So you use the quote function, and then you can input things out of the quote function, and you'll have to do some research and look at how to use that when you need that. But you can see that I can do a sum of xi squared for I equals 1 to n, and that'll do the summation. I can also do Greek letters, alpha plus beta, and fractions, so forth. So there's a lot of capabilities you can use if you need that. Now, your first exercise at the end of this video is to take any graph, preferably from your project work, take any graph and add a meaningful title, subtitle, and axis labels. If you have a legend label, you might want to do that as well. That'll be the first exercise of your homework. In the next video, we'll cover annotations.